Hi and welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. The delay in videos is because we have been in the UK for the last 2 months, house and pet sitting, and supposedly escaping a cold Melbourne winter. But this is today in summer in the UK. This is outside at the moment, grey and wet, and I have to say that the summer over here this year has been a lot of that. We have had some blue sky days, which have been fabulous, but today's definitely a stay inside day. So I thought I'd update my stitching channel. I'm currently working on volume 4 for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I have left volume 3 at home to complete and have started working on this one. The theme is hidden treasures. And the prompt did suggest a wall hanging, but as at home we don't have much wall space, we live in a tiny place, I have decided to do yet another book because I fell in love with this process in volume 2, and I think I'll do all my stitching in books because I love it so much. I didn't bring much with me, packing obviously, had to pack light. I picked my colour scheme, which is black, white and pink, brought a tiny box of a few bits and pieces and hoped I'd be able to add to that stock while I was over here. I was visiting a friend in Newark, which is near Nottingham, and we went to a charity shop, what we call op shops in Australia, and I found this old book, which I thought nobody would particularly miss if I ripped the pages out of it in organic chemistry. I don't know how many people would have been hanging out to buy that. Again, I wanted a book with the old sewn-in pages, so I've ripped all the pages out and I will separate this spine off like I did for my last book to keep that in there. I liked it also because it's got the black, which goes with my colour scheme, and one of the pages I tore out will go on the front cover to fix that. So that will be the cover for my book. I did start my front page before we got a prompt, and as you can see, it's looking a bit messy. I thought I had a brilliant idea of putting the title of the prompt on the front, so I did that, sewed over it, hated it, pulled the sewing out, and I'm going to cover that up. I think I'll put a white pocket in which I will put a list of what the prompts are for this, but once I put that on there, I thought, that looks disgusting, hate it. The backing piece of fabric I did bring from home, some old calico, but the edging here comes from a scarf which I bought in a charity shop when staying with my friend in Newark. I really liked the tassels. I think I'll take the bottom ones off. I think it's a bit too fussy, and some of them are a bit longer than the others, so I'll just even that up, and I like the short ones. So that will be my front cover. I might add some buttons or something when I get home to my button collection, but yeah, ignore that. That looks terrible. It looks so much neater when I cover that up. That's going. That's sort of how I work. I get brilliant ideas, or what I think is a brilliant idea, and then I do it or lay it out and I go, no, that's not going to work. So that was a big boo-boo, but I will cover that up. I will align this. I don't know how I'm going to attach it yet. We'll get to that when we get to that point. So I'll just line that with that, I think, just to cover up the edge, and then that should, if any of it shows, then it'll just be a little bit when I put my cover in, and it'll be more cohesive with my favourite colour, which is black. So I've semi-started my cover. The first prompt for the challenge was monogram, so I'm an S obviously, and went to Pinterest for inspiration, but I ended up going with another passion of mine, which is fonts. I love a good font. I go down the font rabbit hole quite regularly for different graphics projects, and I had this one already in my stash because it's got the little hearts, and I thought I'd use that because I think it looks pretty, and it's also a nod to my other life as a romance author, so I might see if I can include hearts in some of my pages as well. So just the black, white and pink theme. This was take number 3 of this page, which is another reason I don't post my process as I'm doing it, because I started on a different piece of fabric, didn't like the colour, got rid of that, Went with the white. This is a cloth I did buy somewhere here in the UK, part of a larger tablecloth, and I just love that fabric. So this project will have lots of bits from my trip, which will be wonderful memories. So I went with the white, did a pink S, hated that, turfed that. So take number 3. This is pretty much how it's going to be, perhaps with a little bit extra once I get home and see all my bits I've left behind. So I'm quite pleased with that. Sort of freestyled this, which I don't usually feel confident in freestyling, but just did that, and I'm quite happy with how that's going to look. So that's prompt number 1, which was the monogram. Prompt number 2 was using lace. Again, I didn't bring much with me, a few bits and pieces. I did have this ribbon with me, and I did have a tiny piece of fabric with some pink flowers because I knew pink was in my theme. I bought a small piece of black lace from home. The rest of it I have bought here. These 2 squares are from a larger table runner, which are made up of these alternating squares of lace and fabric. Really loved it. I think I bought that. I travelled to a small town nearby called Wiedenbeck. They had an antiques fair, which is just a large antique shop, and they had a couple of baskets of stashes of antique fabric. So I found that, which I was very happy about. And this, this white lace, I also went to Etsy. And since we were at this house for 2 weeks, I managed to get a delivery from Etsy of a small package of mixed lace. So I had a few more bits to play with. And I think this pink one was from home as well. So did my white page, and I just realised that cutting this piece out is actually in a heart shape. So that's in keeping with my theme. Did that subconsciously, which is awesome. So I thought I would do a white lace page and a black lace page. So that was my white page. And the black page probably needs a bit more embellishing when I get home to my buttons. So this black and white fabric is new fabric because I just had nothing. I have no stashes and hoards of old fabric like so many of you other stitchers. So that came from home. I think this little piece of gingham came from a friend who donated a few scraps to me. And the pink lace is mine. This black lace I bought in a strip of probably maybe a metre in a antiques fair type shop in a town called Langford, which was near one of the houses we were sitting in. That was a fabulous place, antique store. Had lots of lovely things. I think I got this pink trim there as well, and some pink silk thread. So I'm loving how this project is going to be bits and pieces from my travels as well. This black lace came from my Etsy delivery as well. So in my book, the black page will sit next to the white page, and I've just realised that's not straight, so that is going to annoy me no end. So I will be unpicking and fixing that. Also, these pages aren't particularly straight. I can't cut straight. I'm hopeless at cutting straight, and I love the look of a raw edge. But this fabric, when you tear it, tends to stretch out of shape a bit. So my pages aren't particularly straight, so I will attend to that in the editing process when I put it all together. But that's an update of where I currently am in this project. The next prompt has come out, and that is favourite fabric. Because I don't have a stash of old fabrics, I don't know what's my favourite. I'm waiting till I'm home next week, at the end of next week, to see what I have in either black, white or pink that I can start my favourite fabrics page with. But that's an update of where I am at the moment, and thank you for listening.